getting ready to saw the cross pieces. You can see I've marked the boards here and even labeled them with the word cross. I'm going to use both end pieces, and then the middle piece will go as diagonals in between. So I'm going to be cutting off the edges. I do that so I have at least one good square. I'm not so confident that I'm going to get a square edge off of my circular saw here. Anyways. Alright, so now I'm going to lay out the cross pieces and get the skeleton of the frame set up so we can start putting the planks across. So here you can see we've got 3 of the boards on, all the cross pieces, and in addition I used the extra middle piece that you saw when I cut the cross pieces out to make diagonals with a rough 45-degree cut. And that's just to help it stay square. And you can see that until I had it square, I only put 1 screw in each of these boards so that it can still rotate a little bit. And the way I checked square is I measured the diagonals and got them to be pretty close to the same. It was like 102 and I don't know, 5/8 or something.
There we go.
And so now I'm going to put screws in this diagonal. Actually, this diagonal is going to come over here. I just like the symmetry. And then that might be it until I have it up partially on the ceiling. But I haven't yet decided. I might put them all the planks on. We'll see. You see, I'm using coarse thread drywall screws that are 1 1/4 inch. And the reason I'm using drywall screws is I think they're a little sturdier than some of the wood screws. I have all the wood screw heads bust off when you screw them in. And these tend to be a little bit, like I said, more sturdy. So this is the coarse thread. And that's what I'll be using. Alright, here's the finished shelf. You can see that I used 6 1x4s, and there's 3 inches between each. I tried to do it in a way that minimized the number of cuts I had to make. So these 2 pieces on the end are 2x2s, and they're 8 feet long, so there's no cuts there. There's another one over here. This piece in the middle is 33 inches. So that means that we have a total span here of 36 inches. Each one of these is 3.5 inches, and we have 6. So that leaves you with 21 inches of board space taken up, which means you have 15 inches of blank space, which means you have, since you have 5 spots to fill, there's 3 inches between each board. So these 33 inch cross beams came from 2 8-foot sections. I cut them off of the ends, and that left a 30-inch piece out of the middle of each cross section. And on those, you can see I cut a really rough 45-degree angle, and I put them on the corners just to provide some squaring. And you can see I've countersunk and screwed in a screw at each end, as well as 2 along each board and 1 at each end. So now the next step is to actually hoist this up onto the ceiling, and to do that we're going to be using this, which you can't see, so I'll put it down. I'm going to bolt that in using carriage or lag screws into the beams in the ceiling, and then hoist this up, and this will support the shelf from underneath. And I have 2 of these, which I think will be plenty. So that's where we are. So now we're on the ceiling. We gotta find a beam. So we'll just mark that spot. Okay, I found the studs, and put in the T brackets. Actually, I don't know what they're called, but that's what I'll call them. You can see there's the lag bolts going straight into the beam, and I've got 4 in there. I used 2 of the holes just as a pilot to get to hold the T bracket on while I put the lag bolts in. I guess I can back those out and put 2 more in. In fact, I might. But now the next part is going to be to hang this up there. So I think I'm going to have to get creative since it's just little old me. Well, that was challenging. So I hoisted this side up and tied it, as you can see, just temporarily. And then I clipped that one in, you can see. And so now I'm just going to get this one underneath and clipped in, and then I'm going to center it. So there we go. It's up. Maybe next step would be to tie it down somehow right there so it can't slide, though I don't think it'll be moving around much. There you go. And I've already hung on it, so it holds at least 150 pounds. But should be plenty for all this extra gear. Let's just hope it stays, huh? Let's hope it makes it through the night.